Hello, 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 gorgeous Leo friends. Welcome. My name is Katerina Barrie. I am conducting a 2024 psychic forecast for my Leo friends tonight. So I want to welcome you to this live stream. First and foremost, I'm just going to mention a couple things as we get started. So if you're watching this on Facebook Live or replay, this is where I stream these types of videos. If you're watching this on any other platform, feel free to give me a follow on my Facebook profile so that you can get to be part of these whenever I release them in real time, if that's your thing. As we get started, I want to clarify a couple things about how this reading can be used as well. So if you are someone who says, I'm a Leo, then this video is definitely for you, because that probably means that Leo is your sun sign. So this is a perfect space for you, and this reading is very much for you. Now, if you are a little bit more advanced when it comes to understanding your astrological chart and you're into kind of exploring some additional information for different placements, such as primarily your rising sign, your moon, your Venus signs, and so on and so forth. And if you know that somewhere in your chart you have a Leo placement and you would like to explore that specific area of your life in 2024 and see what insights come up, then you are welcome to enjoy this reading as well. I'm very excited to get started. I do like to begin by mentioning a couple of important points when it comes to my psychic practice. Now, I use tarot as my main modality, and that's what we start these readings with. I've been working with tarot for nearly a decade now. I've been practicing this type of psychic work in a professional capacity, serving other people through this practice for nearly 5 years now. It's very important for me to make a distinction when it comes to my work that I don't really believe, nor do I practice fortune telling. That is not something that that is not something that I personally believe in per se, for the reason that, in my opinion, the idea that someone else knows your future and can tell it for you is kind of insulting to both our free will and our creative capacity and our capacity to evolve and grow. If everything was so predestined and written out play by play, then what would be the point of taking on this wonderful and often unpredictable human experience, right? So you will not be hearing me predicting your future in these readings, so much so as we are focusing on information that's becoming available in the present that can serve us throughout our journey in the coming year 2024. So how does this work? I believe that by looking at the deeper wisdom that is available in the present moment, we have the capacity to shift our past as well as our future. We can learn a different perspective. We can learn a different insight. We can gain a different depth on a subject that may be relating to the past, and that can set us free. And similarly, when it comes to the future, we can course correct and we can see how things are going, and we can kind of see where they're headed. And when we have this bird's eye view, we can use it to adjust our direction, especially if we discover that where we're headed is not really where we want to be, or maybe no longer where we want to be. So with all of that being said, you guys, I'm going to get started. The way that I do this is, of course, cards is something that I use in these readings. But then a lot of things come beyond just the images or just the basic meanings of the cards. and we go into channeling, and this is something that I specialize in. So towards the end of this video, I will be speaking a little bit more about an opportunity to work with me as your personal advisor, as your coach and your mentor in 2024. It's quite a unique way to work with me. It takes you through the entire year of 2024, and before we even get really into it, we have this day-long retreat together where we outline the year ahead for you, and we use a variety of different methods to work with the energy and to work with certain healing modalities and divination modalities to really kind of feel into the energy of the year ahead, and to strategize on how to best apply it. So I'm going to be talking more about it towards the end, like I said. Stay tuned. And with all of this out of the way, I am very excited to dive right in. I'm going to start by pulling some tarot cards. Okay, you guys. So Leo 2024. If you got, whenever you guys are watching this, wherever you're seeing this, on whatever platform, my comments are always enabled. So I would love to hear from you, how you guys are feeling going into 2024. How are you feeling about this year ahead? What's coming up? And I would love to connect with your energy. So let's see. I'm feeling a pull to like 5 cards. I don't know why this is coming up. Number 5 cards. So 5 tarot cards. Let's see. So we have the Empress reversed. I'm just gonna get those out and we're gonna explore them. We have the Death. So far, both of these cards are major arcana. If you're not as familiar with tarot, or perhaps you haven't really had experiences with it before, a major arcana in tarot represents major life lessons, major transformation points, major aspects of your own evolution, your own journey as a human that you get to experience throughout your life. So these are pretty significant cards. There's another major arcana cards, okay? Just to give you guys a perspective, there are 78 cards in tarot total. Major arcana there's only 22 of them. So 22 out of 78. And so far, the 3 cards we've pulled, they're all major arcana. So we have the Temperance in reverse as well. Okay, let's see 2 more. We have the Knight of Wands. That is your, the Wands, the element of Wands in tarot, you guys, represents the fire element. So as a Leo, okay, sun or placement, this is your element. The fire element is your element. So this is quite a message there as well. And let's see the last one, and let's dive into them. We have the 6 of Pentacles. It is reversed. Okay, so we have quite a few things to look at. Let me put the rest of the cards down. And we're just gonna go one by one, you guys. I'm getting a little excited. I apologize, I am a little congested. I honestly think I'm going through an upgrade. I'm not really feeling sick per se, but if my voice sounds a little congested, I apologize. I really did my best to get this to not be so, but it is what it is. So bear with me. So we're starting with the Empress, okay, reverse, Leo. That's your first card. Now, this is a major arcana. Like I said, it's a major life lesson. It's a major archetype. Okay, this one, it represents the feminine energy, and not necessarily the type of feminine energy that's like pure intuition. It's more an embodied feminine energy. It is the kind of the aspect of yourself that loves the physical, that loves your own body, that loves your own sense of style, that, you know, that's the kind of feminine energy that is like being here, you know, being a woman, being desirable, you know, being creative, whether you are a mother or not, a capacity to be mother, capacity to birth things into existence. It's this kind of embodied aspect of the feminine energy that is like life on earth is kind of how we get to experience it, but it represents so much more. It represents this kind of feminine energy in all the mothers, in all, the daughters, like seeing their mothers as this archetype, in all the mothers, and as they're seen by everyone, their children, their sons, like everyone. This is an archetype. So it's not just like an experience. It's not just you. It's this feminine energy of all. The way that you may connect with it is you walk into a beautiful garden and you see a flower blooming and you see this kind of beautiful aspect of nature, of this birth and this, fruition of the abundance of Mother Earth. These are like the aspects of it. You can catch glimpses of it in, a beautiful woman walking down the street, and something about the way she walks and her dress catches your eye, and you feel this kind of, you're like, this is that energy. So it's different things to different people, but nonetheless it represents these very kind of key cross-cultural, multi-dimensional, how can I put this? It's not a personal experience. It truly is like an archetype. So something that, an idea rather than a person, like a form, an experience of, what do you understand as feminine energy? This is quite frustrating to translate into words. I'm actually kind of struggling a little bit, because I like to make sure that my, whenever I'm doing this, that there's like a complete sentence, that it makes sense. But right now it's like, I'm seeing kind of like glimpses of it. So, this card came up in reverse, Leo. So let's kind of narrow it down a little bit, because I want to give you something actionable with this message here. So what does the feminine energy represent to you? What does it represent to you? And going further with this, how do you relate to yourself as a feminine energy? How do you relate to yourself as a feminine energy? How do you relate to other women as a feminine energy? How do you, where do you see it, right? How do you connect with it? Perhaps when you are being supported, or you're receiving a massage, you have this feeling of I'm connected to that feminine energy. It feels like maybe perhaps it's being pampered. Maybe it's something completely different. Maybe for you it's like when you're taking care of someone and you're caring for someone, and you're nurturing them, and maybe you're cooking for them. You have this that's how I connect to feminine energy, right? Maybe it's the memories, or you spending time with your mother. It's that's how I connect to feminine energy. Maybe it's you being with women, other women, your friends, your girlfriends, that you hang close, maybe super close, maybe just being with the girls, right? That's how I connect to feminine energy. It can be so many different things. But Leo, what's coming through is you got to kind of define this for yourself at the stage going into 2024. Why? Because you're kind of going into it a little bit disconnected from the feminine energy, and that doesn't mean anyone else's understanding of what feminine energy is, and certainly not even mine, but your own. But it's in order to find out how do I reconnect with it, right? You kind of have to tap back into what is it for you? What does it look like for you? What is feminine energy for you? Again, how do you relate to it in yourself, and how do you relate to it in others, and how do you relate to it in general? What is this archetype representing for you? And kind of how I was saying in the beginning, these kind of little glimpses here and there, it could be this, it could be that. Give yourself permission to maybe grab a journal and sit with these questions and kind of feel into it, prompt yourself, how do I relate to feminine energy? Where do I feel it? How do I connect to it? Where do I feel it in me? Where do I feel it in others? Where do I see it in nature? Or where do I feel it in life? And what does that mean to me? And so as you start looking at this, perhaps your connection with the feminine energy has changed. Perhaps you are embodying it differently than you used to. Perhaps there's some healing to do around it. I'm feeling for some of you is healing to do around it. Perhaps there is something that needs to be addressed, like an emotional layer that maybe has not, maybe you haven't had the space lately to give these emotions like an opportunity to be released or maybe even held, right? So it's about feminine energy and reconnecting with it, but it's not really about anyone else and what they think it is and what it means to them or the definitions. It's like, what is it for you? And how do you relate to it? And then like what's coming up? Is it there's something to heal? Is it there's something to feel, right? Or is there something to just like, I haven't done this in a while, or there's a new level, like I haven't done this ever. Maybe for you it's posing for a nude painting. Maybe for you it's doing a boudoir photo shoot. Maybe for you it's, I don't know, going skinny dipping. I have no idea, right? It can be different things to different people. Maybe for you, it's stepping onto a path of motherhood, right? Maybe for you, it's, you finding yourself in the role of a wife, right? Maybe for you, it's something else entirely, right? There's so many possibilities. But none of that really matters what I'm saying, because all that matters is what is that feminine energy to you and what's coming up with it, okay? And as with all of my readings, the most important thing for me to say always is that, again, I'm not here sitting to predict your future. This is information, this is wisdom that becomes available, and I'm here with my gift and with my heart, and with my care for this legacy, for this work, sharing it, finding ways to translate it. However, if you do find something that resonates in my reading, the way for you to benefit from it is to take it and integrate it. Like, take it and do something with it. If it resonates and there's a way to embody it, to learn from it, then that will set the wisdom that becomes available in motion. But at the same time, you can always choose not to take up anything and just listen. And if something doesn't resonate, of course, leave it alone. But if this is resonating, and I feel like for some of you it really is, I would highly recommend that you take the questions that we just discussed and grab a journal and sit with it. Maybe grab a voice recorder on your phone. Maybe it's better for you to talk it out. But really contemplate these questions. Like, what is feminine energy to you? Where have you felt it? How do you feel it? How do you relate to yourself with it, right? How do you relate to others in it? Like, where do you find it? What is it for you? And then, and then what's coming up again? Like, is it healing? Is it unprocessed emotion? Is it just like needing to connect with it on a completely new level, or reconnecting with it on the levels that work, but maybe there hasn't been much space for them? So I'm going to leave this here, Leo, and we're going to proceed to the next cards. So the next one, like I said, we had 3 major arcana cards in this lineup so far, which is quite a few. If you ask me, we have the Death card. Now, this card, it talks about, it's the number 13. Really, it's a card of initiation. Tarot doesn't depict neither the beginning nor the end of the human journey. That is, it is what it is. Everyone who is alive has been born at some point, and everyone who is alive currently at some point will no longer be. That is, these are the rules of being human. And although it is like, yeah, makes sense, it still makes us feel in so many different ways. We grieve the passing of our loved ones. We rejoice at the birth of our offspring, right? That is like part of the human experience. But neither the emotions about the birth and the passing on the emotions, what I'm trying to say, they don't stop that process, right? It cannot be stopped. And at the same time, the fact that this process is unstoppable doesn't alleviate our emotions about it. So we're not really talking though about this kind of cycle of coming to be alive and then passing on as it concerns our existence here on earth. Okay, this card is talking about a different kind of death, the kind of death that is a teacher, the kind of liberation that makes it possible for us to transform. Okay, now this is a very difficult concept for a lot of people, and as an esoteric scholar and an esoteric teacher, you know, it's one of my favorite topics, and at the same time, I also always feel that this is probably not not my students' favorite topic, maybe not everyone's at least, but it's truly a powerful teaching. And the teaching is as follows: is that we spend our life fearing that very death that is our transition from being human to no longer being human. But we resist the kind of death that doesn't kill us, right? What kind of death is that? It's that kind of death that allows us to, while being alive, very much so, no longer be who we were or who we are even now, and to become something else. Now, I know that, Leo, okay, I know that you guys have met along your journey people, and as has everyone, people who have sacrificed a lot for their choice not to change. Like, they have sacrificed relationships, they have sacrificed opportunities, they have sacrificed growth and improvement of their life, just in order not to change at all, as much as possible. Do you know what I mean? When someone is so set in, like, this is how I am, this is who I am, and this is how I will always be. So if I lose relationships, and if I lose opportunities, and if I lose all these things, that's fine, because I'm never changing. Okay? You have met people like that, so have I, so has everyone. But one of the most important teachings that we as initiates can start seeing in examples of people such as that is everyone that we meet is our own mirror. So meeting a person like that mirrors in us this very resistance to change, to growth. And so this is essentially the fear of death, not the kind of death that comes for all of us eventually, but the kind of death that allows us to grow. So what would it take in order for someone who is so resistant to change, if they really prioritized perhaps the opportunities or the relationships or the growth? You know, it could be very hard to say, I'm sorry. It could be very difficult to admit that you're wrong. It could be very difficult to say that a profession you chose for yourself, you don't care about it anymore. It could be extremely difficult to, at a certain age or stage in your life, whatever it is, to realize, you know, I don't want to be single anymore, or I don't want to be married anymore, or I don't want to live here anymore. I don't want to live in this country or this town or this place. I don't want to have this profession, you know, whatever it is. These friends don't, you know, resonate with me anymore. It's extremely scary. And yet this is the kind of death that we refuse, that has nothing to do with dying. It has everything to do with living and evolving. And that's what most people are so afraid of. But the funny thing is, and it's not really funny, I guess it's the better word would be ironic. The ironic thing is on the other side of that scary truth, that scary move, that scary decision, that essentially that decision to change, which brings about so-called death of ego, right? Who you have come to know yourself as. On the other side of that scary so-called death lies a whole another new life, which is the you that had the courage to do the things, the you that went for it, the you that said it, the you that made the move, even though no one could understand and no one could, foresee it, and no one could maybe even support you. The courage to face change, okay, is what this message is all about. The courage to face change. And Leo, you guys have a lot of courage, okay? You guys have so much courage. And you know what? The Leos I have known throughout my life and dearly loved, through and through, like you have the star quality. You have that fire, you have that brightness, that warmth, that charisma. Whether you're more introverted or extroverted, people are drawn to you. If you're not so public in the public eye, still in your circle of friends, you kind of are still a bit of a star, even if you're not really kind of, getting up on the chair and calling attention to yourself, right? You have that special something that, in your group of friends, I think more than one friend would call you their best friend, if that makes sense. Like several of your friends would call you their best friend. And you guys, that is just, it's just a special, magical something about you. And you don't lack courage. Where I'm going with this friends talk is that, you're the person that people in your life come to when they feel like they could use some extra courage. And they come for advice, and you guys are able to encourage others. You're able to see and highlight gifts and talents in other people. You're able to just make, when you put, like, when you, how do I say this, when you focus your undivided attention on someone, that makes them feel so very special, okay? So if you can inspire courage in others, and when you can, help others find their special something in themselves by just being seen by you, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of finding out about yourself that's on the other side of, you kind of playing small maybe a little bit? Leo, what's coming up for you for 2024 is, the courage to do the hard thing you have, but the courage to let go of who you know yourself to be seems to be posing a challenge. And every time you act courageously, every time you bravely make the bold move, it tends to pay off for you really quite well. So, I would say, Leo, if you are to just trust this, that everything that you have so far become, every single way in which you have grown and expanded and gotten wiser throughout your life, none of that is ever going to go away. The only thing that you're letting go of when you jump into this kind of unknown, right, is you're just leaping past what you have already experienced. There's nothing to really lose when you're making this leap into, I'm ready to meet myself anew. I'm ready to, become a different version of me. You're never losing any wisdom. The only thing you're losing is maybe what you've gotten used to. And yeah, that may be, maybe it's going to be a different wardrobe. Maybe it's going to be a different way that you show up. Maybe it's going to be a different way that you present yourself. Maybe it's going to be a different career. Maybe it's going to be a different circle of people in your life. But it's safe to trust yourself, because everything so far in your journey up to this point, it will always continue serving you. And the only thing that there is to kind of possibly step over when it comes to this kind of fear of the unknown is realizing that perhaps you're going to have to meet yourself, right? Perhaps you're going to have to discover yourself, right? Perhaps you're going to have to explore. You're going to have to find out. So yeah, there is a little bit of this unknown, uncertainty. There's this maybe a little bit of a fear of like, well, I'm not going to have this safety blanket of my usual patterns and my usual ways of doing things if I really go to that new level, if I really make that leap, if I really, meet myself on this new, timeline of myself, right? It may be a big change, but it's still you, and everything you've been and everything you've grown through is always going to support you. So there's really nothing to fear. I'm kind of channeling a little deeper on this message because I'm tapping into kind of the what are some deeper layers of this context. But really there isn't anything to be afraid of. And whenever you are transitioning to like, okay, it feels like I'm no longer gonna even be me as I am now. Yes, it's true, but wouldn't you want to meet your new level self, right? Like, wouldn't you want to at least find out who that is, right? And you may say like, yeah, but if I find out, there is like, really is no going back. Like, the only way is to meet, to like become that, right? It's true. But what about just staying, being everything you already know, and staying where you are? Doesn't that sound like hiding? Doesn't that sound like playing it safe? Like, that's not really Leo energy. That's not really you. And it's like, yeah, it's scary, but don't you want to know? Don't you want to experience it? Don't you want to play with it? Don't you want to explore, right? Don't you want to like really go there, especially considering that it's available for you? So I feel like there really isn't even a question. It's a matter of, stepping into that courage, and in the year 2024 going like, okay, it's scary, but I'm willing to make the leap. And yes, I'm probably not going to be the person that I am now or that I've been before, but let me go to that level. Let me see who I am there. Like, let me meet myself, I'll figure it out then. Have courage, have confidence, the same confidence and encouragement that you put into others when you support your others that seek your illumination, your guidance. Put that into yourself, Leo. Like, make that leap, because that next level, it's like, it's ready for you. You're ready for it. But no, you can't be the same person you've always been. And that's okay, because once you meet that level of yourself, you won't even want to be like you used to be, right? So go for it. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. Let's move on. We had Temperance in reverse, another major arcana card. So here, the message is a little bit more obscured, but I'm getting a good kind of grasp on the direction of it. Okay, so what I feel here is not really, going maybe a little bit, being pulled into extremes, Leo, being pulled into extremes where, perhaps you get very excited, like very high, like very excited, very pumped for something, and it may be even your own undertakings. And then, not even that much time passes, but then you get really kind of doubtful. And then, sometimes you get like really, really like with the intimacy, you get like you lean into the relationship so much and you're like, I cannot get enough of you. I want to like be super close. Like, oh my gosh, this is great. And then you kind of get the cold feet a little bit. You're like, whoa, like I need my personal space. I need some alone time. And so, and this can be going on in other areas of your life where you get super organized, super productive. Like you're making the smoothies, you're doing the workouts, you're meal prepping, you're, putting it all together. And then, not that much time passes and you're like, that doesn't fit into my schedule. I don't have time. And you kind of slide back into, different patterns of perhaps, doing takeout and just, maybe relaxing and doing the complete opposite. So I'm seeing a lot of these kind of opposite behaviors where it's a little bit like a seesaw, and it's kind of throwing you off because what's the point, right? Because what's the point? If you're doing something for just a little bit and then you're doing the complete opposite, and then you do that with a lot of different things, then it's like it almost feels like you're rattling yourself a little bit, and there really is no there's maybe it feels like there is your sense of stability may be a little bit more fragile at this time, and it may feel like you are you're looking for a better routine. You're looking for a better kind of a better sequence of choices in maybe with your lifestyle. You're looking for an improvement, you're looking for a change, but the fact that you go so extreme and then you go to the polar opposite ends up kind of canceling each other. So let's say you do that example where you're doing the shakes, you're doing meal prepping, you're working out, you're staying super healthy, you're saying no to things that you want, but you're like, no, that's not healthy, and I'm feeling good about my choices, I got this. And then you're like, no, I'm not feeling it, and you go to like complete opposite of like, okay, I'm not working out anymore, and I'm not doing this meal prepping thing, I'm just gonna go get takeout and lay on the couch, and that lasts for a little period of time, and then you just go back to whatever it was before. Maybe once in a while you do workout, once in a while you do takeout, and once in a while you're healthy, and once in a while you're not. But that was what you started with. So you doing the one and then you doing the opposite extremes hasn't done anything. So this is where I'm going with this message. Is this card is kind of showing me that as you head into the new year, something to consider is to, instead of implementing the entire strategy, like head on, full force, and then recoiling and doing the complete opposite, why don't you focus on introducing small changes, okay? Like small changes over time to where they are so slight that you cannot even have resistance to it because it's almost unnoticeable and it's very easy to implement. So let's say instead of implementing a whole meal prep, smoothies, protein shakes, and workout routine all at once, maybe you just start whenever you do have a workout, you have like a protein shake before that, right? I'm just using this one analogy because this can be about so many things. Or maybe you take a vitamin instead of changing your whole diet and changing everything and then going like, okay, none of this is working, I'm going completely back. Maybe you just start taking a vitamin, or you start introducing this one ingredient that you should be eating more of, right? Maybe instead of going into planning your whole life and notes and calendars and journals, even though that you don't really do that, you just get a journal and, with your routine of, say, reading before bed, you may be right aligned because your journal is always like right next to that book. So you look at something you already do and you're reminded of something else that you're starting to integrate into your life. So small steps, easy to integrate, almost unnoticeable, tied into something that you already are consistently doing, and you will be very successful because you add one, you add another one, you give it time, and you build up this routine, right, that is shifted, that is adjusted, that is more to your liking and more in line with the priorities that you have. And yet you don't do so much change that you completely shock yourself, and then you go in reverse and completely cancel everything out, and then you end up doing exactly what you were doing before. So small steps, easy to integrate, almost unnoticeable. If you are taking notes, these are the things that I would recommend taking down. Okay, you guys, we're going to be moving on to the next card. We have the Knight of Wands. I'm going to need another sip of water before we get into it. Okay, so we have the Knight of Wands. That is your element. That is the element of fire. Leo is a fire sign, so this is a fire knight. We're going to talk about him. So the Knight of Wands, you guys, represents moving forward in a swift manner. This is I'm kind of choosing the right words here. This is like a full go ahead. This is a full speed ahead. And whatever you're bringing into 2024, I feel like this relates to your, okay, so this is a couple of different possibilities. So you guys, we have you're in entrepreneurship. Okay, these are just top few that are coming up very strongly. So if that's something that you respond to, pay attention. If it's not, if it's something that I'm not mentioning, then it's also like it's there, but there's a couple things that this message will apply to more specifically. Okay, so entrepreneurs, artists, if you have something creative you're doing, or you're like in charge of something, like in charge in the way that you're like a visionary, not just like in charge, but you're like the mover of the project. You're the visionary. Like you are the one who came up with the thing, or who is like seeing the whole thing come together. This has to do with vision. This has to do with creation. This is not passive. This is not something you're just a part of. Like you're a leader, okay? You're a leader, okay? Like for real. Like this is what it is about. Something else is coming up as well. And you guys, I'm sorry, my sinuses are getting progressively worse, so I'm just like keeping it on the low, but again, I just want to give you context as to like what's going on my end. So if I pause, just give me a moment. But yeah, what's coming up more specifically too, there's another strong focus here. If you've recently been elected into a position, I mean anywhere, like wherever it is, where others have elected you, or you've been nominated and elected, chosen, placed on the committee, given a title, whatever it is. It can be political, it can be community based, it can be something like PTA, like school related, related to anything that you're a part of, honestly. But again, so entrepreneurship, if you're an artist, if you're in charge of a project, like in the form of a visionary, you're the one with the vision, you're the one seeing the thing come together. And if you have been elected in any kind of position, these are the things this message is primarily about. Anything else, you're going to have to listen yourself as to how it applies. These specific instances, there is a specific message for 2024 is, it's time to really put forward the agenda that you see. Okay. So, again, this is going to be more relevant for some than for others of you, and especially in the areas that I just named. But the message is pretty strong here. And the message is this coming year, 2024, it's not going to be the time for you to make your vision please everyone, right? It's not really about making sure that every single thing is in agreement with everyone else, right? That everyone else is pleased, that everyone is exactly on board and seeing it exactly the same way. You don't need to worry about it that much. You're the one with the vision is what I'm getting, Leo. You're the one with the vision. You're the one you're the reason this is coming together. And if you've been elected or chosen for a certain position of authority and leadership, this wasn't a mistake. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't random. You're supposed to be leading this. And leading sometimes means going okay, here's our vision and here's how we're going to do it. It's not really the role of, going around in circles over and over again and, interviewing everyone and doing 155 revisions just to make sure that absolutely everyone agrees with every single word. And you know what? There are positions for that, but that's not really your role as the leader of this thing, is what I'm getting. Is you don't need to worry so much about absolutely everyone loving you, because that's what you're really worried about a little bit here, okay? I don't mean to get personal, I promise, okay? But this is coming through, so just bear with me, Leo, okay? This is not about people pleasing, and this is not about popularity. This is not about you being liked by everyone, although wouldn't that be nice? I'm a recovering people pleaser myself. I have experienced a lot of different patterns in life where, that was my desired reaction, and there was a lot I was willing to do in order for people to like me. And it got to a pretty ridiculous point where, I was like, what am I really doing things for? And who really am I? And it's not quite what we're focusing about in this conversation, but just to give you a little reference, I understand. But this leadership position that you have, this project, this business, this art project, this undertaking that you're leading or being a visionary of, putting this thing together that you're in charge of, or even this, like I said, elected position that you've been selected for and put in place of, you're not there to please everyone, and it's not really about you, is it? It's not really about you being popular or you being liked or you being, you being the most charming one. It's not about everyone loving you. It might be wouldn't that be nice? It's like a good sentiment to have. Wouldn't that be nice? But you will never achieve the full potentiality you will never actualize the full potential of your leadership, rather, if you don't really just lead. Okay? And just leading, it's not about making sure that everyone loves you, because some people are very uncomfortable with leadership. Some people, they are rebels. Some people don't like any kind of authority. Some people are challengers. Some people like to challenge authority. Some people are just pacifists, and they're like, I don't care, Again, why are we doing this, right? So there's all kinds of people. And if you take it upon yourself to make sure that you are liked by everyone, then you're sacrificing your leadership, because that's not really what, that's not the position. That's not what's asked of you. That's not really why you have this, That's not why you're carrying this torch. It's not why you're on this horse. It's not your direction. So set aside your desire to be liked and approved of and lead. And don't be afraid of people disagreeing or disapproving or being a little annoyed or displeased with you, because at the end of it all, accomplishing what you set out to do, reaching the summit, getting the thing done, getting this thing launched, getting the thing off the ground, that's going to earn you maybe not likes, but respect. And that is real authority. Leading and being a leader that sees the project through to full fruition, full manifestation, that's leadership, and that earns respect. Okay, but likes, being liked, being loved, being approved of, if you slip into more chasing that, then it's likely that you're going to actually have to sacrifice the vision, because getting everyone to like you and everything you have to say and getting all of this kind of thing where everyone is on the same page, like it dilutes the actual vision, and you're the visionary. So it's your job to lead, and it's your job to make sure that the vision is the most important thing, and that everyone, whether they like you or not, whether they completely agree or not, everyone works together to get on board for the sake of the vision, not let's modify the vision so that everyone likes everyone and agrees with everyone, right? I hope this is making sense. I gotta move on. This is a very powerful message for you. I would take that to heart. Set aside being liked, even being loved, and focus on leading, because that's what your actual role is in this undertaking. Okay, you guys. Leo, the last of the tarot cards that you got tonight. This is the Six of Pentacles that is reversed. Okay, the message is pretty clear with this card when it's reversed. This is talking about needing to rebalance giving and receiving. And so what does that mean? It means that you may be, there may be disproportion where, you're pouring a lot of yourself, and maybe you're doing it for free, or you are not really being valued, or how sometimes there are relationships where you're giving and giving and giving, and the person's taking, but they're not doing anything about it. Like maybe they keep asking you for advice about a situation that is the same all the time with slight variations, right? And you give them the same advice, and you're like, is something wrong with my communication skills, because I've explained it to them like 10 different ways, and they keep asking for this advice and they never take it, like they never do anything with it. Yeah, they are not asking for your advice to do anything with it. They're asking for your advice to ask for your advice, because they like hearing your advice, and they like you focusing your attention on their whatever story it is, whatever is going on. So there may be people, situations, projects, undertakings, areas in your life where you're pouring and pouring, you're giving and giving, you're giving it your all, you're giving it a lot of heart and soul, but maybe you're not feeling like it's paying off, or maybe you're not feeling like you're really being valued for just how much you're giving of yourself. Well, Leo, I gotta say, there is, in this instance, and there's another possibility here that we will explore as well, but in this particular instance, if you relate to this example, one of very good ways to kind of address it is to just stop, take a pause, switch your focus, take a break from the relationship, take a break from being in that role, just switch it up. Let's use this example of someone calling you asking for your advice, then never taking it or even considering it. Well, next time they call, and they're like, hey, listen, I got this thing going on again. I wanted to ask for your advice. Flip the script. Be like, hey, whoa, hold on a second. Now, we've been talking about your thing and I've been giving you advice for some time now. So how about actually, I want your advice. How about that? It might surprise them, but just come up with something. Just bring them something from your life. Say, hey, you know what? Actually, I need you to listen to me. How about this? I need your advice. Even if you don't need their advice, just share some aspect of your life. Just put them in a position where they're on the other end, right? And if you've been doing something and you've not been compensated for, or you've not been appreciated for it, or you feel like you're sacrificing a lot to show up for someone, and they're not really even like noticing it, take a pause, because some people, and that's unfortunate, but it's kind of part of human nature, is some people really start appreciating things when they lose them. And as harsh as it sounds, sometimes it's kind of important to remind people that, you have your life too. You have priorities. You have things to do. You could enjoy your time, right? It's yours. Like, if you have some free time and you're finding time to show up for someone, whereas you could just maybe use it for yourself, just to relax and do nothing and take a nice relaxing bath, or go for a jog, or I don't know, go shopping or something, like do something for you, right? And if you're sacrificing that potential to show up for someone else and they're not valuing it, then let them experience not having you, right? Let them experience what it's like when you're not doing it, right? So if you feel like you're not valued or appreciated or recognized or, like treasured, and you're putting a lot of yourself in it, step back, give it a rest, see how they fare without, see if anything changes in how you are treated. And if not, then good. Then why do it in the first place? And if it's if it's kind of like if you pull away and you realize, like, yeah, even if they do appreciate it, maybe I'm not just enjoying it, just like it's not worth it for me, right? Then you have your answer, and you have to be honest about this. It serves you, it serves the other person, and it allows you to make choices that actually honor you, instead of feeling like, well, I'm giving so much of myself and does it even matter, right? So it's in your hands being able to rebalance the scales. It's up to you. You have that power. So Leo, I encourage you to take it upon yourself to kind of reset this balance. And if you are getting a lot from someone, and maybe it's someone you work with, or someone like maybe like a hairdresser, or maybe it's your framer that frames your art, or whatever it is, and you've been really enjoying their help for a long time, and they're excellent, they're the best at what they do, and maybe their prices have never changed, or maybe they changed, but they still honor the same price for you. And you're like, gosh, this person is so valuable in my life. They don't nearly charge enough. Well, don't wait for them to charge more. Go write them a check. Go give them a bonus. Buy them a gift. Buy them a gift card. Whatever it is. You don't need to wait for them to balance the scales. If you feel like their value far exceeds their rates in your life, then go and reward them. Take it upon yourself to say, hey, thanks for being the best, or thanks for being reliable. Thanks for, being the best for me in this area. here's a nice little bonus for you, and happy holidays or happy birthday or whatever it is, happy life. Hey, don't wait for them to raise the prices, because they may never. But if you feel like they do more for you than they charge, take the rebalancing upon yourself, Leo. Go reward them. Go show them your appreciation. All right, you can do it. You're the leader. You gotta start kind of showing up in this leadership more than ever now in 2024. I'm feeling. Take it upon yourself to lead. Take it upon yourself to, to show up when it comes to you being underappreciated, if you are. And if you feel like, some people in your life that are extremely valuable, like they're not appreciating themselves enough, like they're not even charging what they should be, go show them, go reward them, go show them how much you appreciate them, how much they truly are worth to you, okay? So that completes the tarot. Now I have another deck of cards. I'm going to pull 3. We're going to see what they are. You guys, my, like I said, sinuses got a little congestion. It is kind of bothering me at this point. So, yeah, we may not be here for a very long time, but as always, we are here for a great time. So let's take a look. Okay, so I have these cards. They're quite special. They're quite rare. So let's take a peek for Leo in 2024. What is the wisdom, partnership, channel clearly? So with this deck, because of the nature of it, I will be looking at the guidebook. Let's see. So it's quite an interesting deck, like I said. I don't always use it. This is very connected to embodied wisdom. All right, so let's find the number 8, channel clearly. So Leo, the great teacher Jesus Christ said that whenever 2 or more are gathered in his name, there will be he also. What this means is that when we work with others for the highest good of all concerned, or for a spiritual purpose greater than our own ego needs, we receive more divine guidance and spiritual power than would be possible through working alone. Understand the power of partnership. Whenever you work with one or more synergetically, your power becomes exponentially greater than it could ever be individually. This is live, Marina. It's good to see you. Oh my goodness, I think I'm finally starting to see the comments, you guys. Oh my goodness. So I'm having a little sinus issue, you guys. I apologize. I may be getting a little cold, so just bear with me. It's getting worse. So I've been going live for a while. So again, bear with me. I'm doing my best not to let that distract me, because this reading so far has been like out of this world. So yeah, so this is called mastermind, this concept, okay? Napoleon Hill talks about it in Think and Grow Rich, which if you haven't read it. I highly recommend it. Think and Grow Rich, he talks about when 1 or 2 or more people are gathered, there is another mind that is formed from the combination of everyone else's energy who is present. So basically that's the same as what Jesus said, that when 1 or 2 or more are gathered in his name, he is present also. This also applies to channeling. I gotta say, you guys, this is one of those examples where even though I'm not talking to a specific person when I'm doing this reading, right? I am channeling in real time, and you joining live and on replay, like your presence contributes to the meaning of what is being said. I'm not going to try to explain this in detail because it would be a very long conversation, but the message is when you are working in partnership, with others. Even when, let's say, if you're an artist, you create a work of art, okay, and then it sits in your basement and no one ever sees it. It's still a work of art, okay? But it becomes more of a work of art when someone else sees it and goes, I see that in it. It makes me feel this emotion. Like creating a work of art and someone seeing a work of art and interpreting it creates that mastermind also. Like everything, like let's say I write, I'll give you my example, you guys. I write journals. I've been writing journals since I was a child, but I started really like seriously writing journals in a way that I'm kind of organized with them when I was 21, and now I'm 30, and I've been doing it for 9 years. And at this point, I have this shelf of journals that are complete. Okay. And it's like brilliant writing. I'm not gonna downplay. Like I rarely reread my stuff, but some of the stuff I have reread, I'm like, damn, like I can write, okay? But what is that? Is the world going to discover journals according to Katerina Barrie when, my time's up? Maybe that's kind of the idea, but I'm not even going to be around to enjoy it. So like, it's not like, what's the point? It's not a work that can have this. My journals are not the kind of work that can have this, like being seen, being read. Now, let's say I wrote a book and I published it. And there's me writing a book, and there's my story, and there's me putting it out there, and then there's someone reading it going like, wow, that reminded me of this. And imagine there's like 100 people who read it, and then they're like, interesting, that made me think of this. And then someone on some forum says, hey, have you read this book by Katerina Barrie? It inspired me to think of this. And someone responds to them and says, no, I completely disagree. I think it was completely about something else. And maybe I stumble upon this conversation going on online, and I'm like, what is wrong with both of them? That's not what I wrote at all, right? But at this point, the book has taken on a mind of its own, and everyone who is thinking about it, reading it, making opinions about it, talking about it, everyone is that book, okay? Because it has now become not just me, it has become everyone who has ever touched it. So, Leo, if you're doing something that no one else can see or touch or be part of or make an opinion about, then take the thing and bring it out into the light, okay? Because what is it doing in your basement? Like, it's never gonna be what it's supposed to be until it's out there. So whatever art or projects or ideas or stuff you're doing, and you're not letting people see it or be part of it, and it's brilliant, then take it out into the world. I mean, that's all I can say. I don't know what else to add here. So there's that. Okay. Let's see another one through this deck. Like I said, total of 3. Let's do number 2. We have, complete and move on. So, let's find this. These cards are organized in a very different way than I'm used to when it comes to working with decks. Okay, we're getting closer, you guys. My friend Marina is here. It's so good to see you, gorgeous. My friend Rita is here. Okay. So here we go. Once we've created something of value and helped launch it into the world, we often go through a letdown period. That is why the previous message, that's why you haven't published it. That's why you haven't let other people be part of it. That is why, okay? Once we've created something of value and helped launch it into the world, we often go through a letdown period. That's what you don't want to go through because it's your baby. That's what it is, okay? The celebration and elation of success and completion is often followed by a feeling of depression, lack of energy, loss of focus. This is the part of completion process after giving birth. You'll also want to reevaluate your creative direction and focus. Allow yourself to take this time to lie fallow for a while. It will make your next creation stronger and more successful than ever. So what's going on is you have something brilliant. It's like it's not complete, but it's not complete because you can't complete it. It's not complete because you have like 2 steps left and you're like, I can't do it. Because you're like, you don't want to do it. Because if you've completed, then you have to put it out there. And if you put it out there, that means it's not yours anymore. And it means it's out there. And then it means, oh my gosh, it's done. And then you're like, oh my gosh, it's done. Like, it's not even part of me anymore. And then it's like empty, you know? But that is exactly what you need in order for the new idea to come through. So if you're like holding on, not finishing something that is ready to be finished, you're only delaying the process of you getting the new thing, right? But before you get the new thing, you're still gonna have to be, like it said, follow. Like you have to be kind of empty for a little while. But you can't avoid it, you know? Like, and the only thing is you're delaying the next creation that will come after you're empty for a little bit. Okay. But it's part of it. And that's part of feminine energy. That is part like, and you guys, I'm not a biological mother. That's not something that I feel is part of my path in this lifetime. However, I work with feminine energy very deeply. And it is part of the feminine energy process of creation. Is you get this idea, essentially that's more masculine energy. When you get the idea, it's like, oh, you know, it's kind of like when this creation starts, right? But the actual feminine energy process of creation is, you know, you grow it in yourself, you grow it in your womb, whether it's a baby or whether it's an idea, whether it's a book, whether it's art, whether it's a company, whether it's, I don't know, a launch of something. It can be anything. But if you work with feminine energy, and if that's your leading energy, which is what I would say is the case with me, and that's why I work with women as a mentor specifically, right? If that's the energy that is the leading energy in your life, then you are creating through this womb energy. And so what that means is when it's time to give birth to it, then it kind of becomes like a separate baby. It's no longer part of your body. It's out in the world, you know? You're still very connected to it. It's still you. It's still your name. It's still your legacy. But, you know, it's also everyone else's. Everyone else gets to make opinions about it and interact with it and criticize it and praise it and do whatever with it, right? In their mind. And so, and there's this emptiness, this grieving, like, you know, I miss when this thing was only mine. It's true, but that's going to happen. Now, there are some things that you may not want to release into the world until a certain time. You know, for me, like my journals, I don't want to publish my journals. But yes, I would also like for them to be published when when my human time's up, you know, like yes, absolutely. That would be amazing. You know, but at that point, I hope to be like a friendly spirit kind of watching from from not here, you know, because it's like it's meant to be only for my eyes until my journey is complete. So it's not one of those projects, but it's like, but what about one of those projects? And it's like, oh yeah, the ones that I actually want to publish, the ones that I don't want to complete because that means I will have to publish them. Okay, that's a whole another story there, right? So like that's what I'm talking about. There are some things that are just for you. I'm not telling you guys to like put it out there. No, I'm talking about the things that you were meaning to put out there that are incomplete because you are afraid of putting them out there, right? So these are the things that have been in the works. This is not brand new. So, okay. I have the last card, and then I'm going to connect with comments. I see my friend Marina shared some things. I would love to read that. Okay. Wow. And we have this card. Let me find that one. And it's the Imagine Allow. Okay. And that's the first one, right? Yes. Okay. Curiosity about the world and the desire to know more is the beginning of all knowledge and the basis for education. What would you like to know more about? We are born with open minds and an unquenchable search for knowledge. Ask why. Woof, I'm getting chills with that one. A simple message, but profound. This is the kind of questions you're going to be asking when you're in that void space, when you have birthed the project that you have been working on, and you finally release it out into the world, and you know your new creation will come at some point soon. But you're in that hollow space where it's like, well, kind of empty now. That is that void space, that void womb space where you really get to ask these questions. And you think these questions, right now you may be thinking, well, they're probably going to be like, what's next? No, not quite. You may surprise yourself. You may actually, when you complete something that you're meant to complete, right? And in that in-between space, you might get downloaded with a whole new direction, okay? You may not even be asking the questions you think right now you're going to be asking. You might be asking completely different questions. You might be getting inspired to ask in a whole different way, right? So I feel like 2024, for you, Leo, is three major things, completion, yes. Knowing the next thing is coming, yes. But also really paying attention to that void space in between your projects. And allowing that, and you guys, Marie and I want to tell you this. I would suggest watching this also from the beginning, on replay, because in the tarot cards at the beginning, I pulled some messages that also relate to this. We were talking about making a leap from who you know yourself as now into a whole new version of you, like a whole new level of you. But it's this fear of like, yeah, but I'm going to have to like reintroduce myself to myself. Like, but I'm going to have to find out who I even am there. And that's true. But it's like, but you can't anticipate how that's going to feel while you are who you are as you are now. So like, in order to even find out what it's like to meet yourself on that new level, you have to just leap in, have that courage and leap. So that means whatever it is that you're meant to complete it. Whatever it is that you're meant to become, jump, find out who that is, right? It is scary. I'm not saying it isn't, but it is scary. But it's like, could you really afford not to? Could you ever be the person who plays it safe? Could you ever be okay with settling? I don't think so. Do you think so? I don't think so. I have yet to meet a strong Leo energy that's okay with settling for things. Like, that's just not it. That's not your vibe. So it's gonna be the year of like, okay, I'm gonna complete and I'm gonna find out what's next. It's gonna be uncomfortable. I'm not gonna know. I'm gonna be okay. Okay, I'm gonna leap and have to find out who I'm in my next level. I'm probably not gonna know who the F I am while I'm in between the who I am now and who I am next. but I'm gonna be fine because I'm gonna find out. Like, you gotta kind of you gotta give yourself this pep talk getting into 2024. Like, yeah, we're gonna do some scary things this year. And you know what? No one's gonna be necessarily cheerleading because people don't even get it, and people don't do the scary stuff. Most people don't. And you're, like I said again at the beginning, like, you encourage other people. You give courage to other people. You empower other people. People come to you when they're afraid, and they say, I gotta do the scary thing tomorrow. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. And you tell them, I know you're gonna do it. You're just gonna do it. Well, you gotta give yourself that kind of pep talk getting into 2024. Like, all right, here we go. Here comes the new year. We're gonna do scary things. Probably no one else is gonna get it. Probably no one else has done it before. I'm just gonna have to trust myself. I'm going to have to find out. I'm going to just do it and find out what's on the other end. I'm never going to find out while I sit here and wonder how is it going to be, because I'm not doing it when I'm thinking like that. So I'm going to leap. I'm going to come, see, figure it out, try it again. Whatever I need to do, I'm going to do. And it's scary AF. And it's uncomfortable, and that's just the way that it is, because that's what leaders do. They go first, and I'm the leader. So, hooray, give yourself a pat on your shoulder, and get into it. Because you guys, I'm sorry, I know this sucks, but when you're a leader, and you find out there's no one walking in front of you, it's gonna have to be you, and everyone else is gonna follow. So, oops. I mean, I don't know. Some part of your soul, whether you're Leo sun or placements, there's a part of you that was like, I'm going down and I'm being a Leo. So welcome. You chose this. Some part of you did. Better get used to it, because this whole year, I'm pretty sure you're going to be ahead, and you're going to look in front and be like, damn, it would be nice if like someone was like walking at least with me, or maybe even a little bit ahead of me. That would have been kind of comforting. And then you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, oof, wish I didn't. There's like hundreds of them, like, whoa, and they're all following me, like, oof, eesh, yikes, you know, what do I do next? And it's like, okay, what do I do next? What's the next thing? All right, let's do it. So yeah, so that's the reading. All right. I'm going to just look through the comments real quick here. Oh my goodness, Marina, so many updates. I love that. Wow, so many creations. And so much progress. I love that. Okay, I love that for you. That's perfect. But yes, like, I feel like that message, that has your energy all over it. And I feel like I feel for you guys, Leos, but I have to say, I love Leos, you know. My sun sign is Gemini. I love my Leo friends. There's something to you guys that I admire very much. I find it very, very attractive. But it's not necessarily the quality that I would say like is the quality that's the leading quality in me. But there is something that is like, you were made to lead others. Like, it's not just about being an innovator. It's not just about being a visionary. It's about like, people naturally follow you. Like, there's something about your codes, your presence, where it's like, you give that courage. You see the gifts in people, and they want to learn from you. Like, they want to follow you, because it's like they connect to the vision that you have, not just through you, but through your embodiment of it, you know? So, you know, nothing I'm talking about is like unnatural to you. Nothing I'm talking about is like, oh, that's, you know, it makes no sense for a Leo. It makes all the perfect sense. but this is for this, you're cut out for this, is basically what I wanted to say. And a couple things I want to add, as I said in the beginning, is I do want to spend a few moments here, talk a little bit about my Tarot Scope 2024. It is an opportunity to work with me for the entire year in 2024. It starts with a day-long retreat. It is virtual, so that means we are connecting online through voice, through video, but we are spending an entire day together. I'm going to be staying in my office right where I am right now, where all my tools, all my medicine tools, all my cards are. And we're going to practice divination together. I'm going to give you some opportunities how to do that on your end directly as well. Divination is direct communication with the divine. So we're going to use cards and various other methods to just pull down some intuitive information, some messages to support you in the new year. The second part of our day together is going to be a shamanic ceremony. What makes it shamanic is that I serve you in the role of the shaman, which means we are doing some medicine work, some healing work, some energy work on you. And whatever it is that we are releasing or clearing or detaching that you no longer wish to carry or be burdened with, I'm pulling through myself. This is what a shaman does. I am trained in these disciplines. I am a practiced, experienced ayahuasquera, which means I work with ayahuasca. It's my personal preference, but this work has been part of my life for years, and I have been trained how to serve others in this capacity. It's a great gift to be able to practice it and to share this this practice with my clients. It's quite powerful, but it's very easy on your end, and it's something that I am equipped and trained to conduct with ease on my end as well. So this is removing attachments, cords, anything that you do not want to carry with you anymore. It's not something that, I'm just coming into your field and pulling random things. This is all with awareness. This is all with agreement. We take a look at things and we say goodbye to them in a very powerful way, in a way that prevents any kind of reattachment or going backwards, okay? And then the third part of our day together, it's all about you receiving. I am channeling for you. I have this capacity to not only channel, which I believe actually all humans do to a degree, but I have a specific ability, which is why it's so important for me to work with clients one-on-one when it comes to matters like this, is I'm able to translate the channeling for you specifically in a language that does not bypass your conscious mind. What that means is, if you've had an experience hearing something very profound, like spine tingles, and you're like, oh, this is something so incredible, so like, wow, this is so profound, right? And it kind of goes over your head, and you don't retain it, right? And it's like the next moment, it's like, what even was that? Like, how do I use it in life? Like, what do I do with this? But how does it make sense in real life? That doesn't happen in our channeling sessions. The way that I translate the channeling that comes through allows you to retain it on a conscious level as well. So that means you're able to understand it. You're able to practically apply what we're talking about. You're able to get everything that we discuss, and yet it is profound. It is life-changing, and there's nothing quite like it. If you have worked with me previously one-on-one, you know what I'm talking about. If you have not, and I would just say that take these zodiac channeled forecasts, and just keep in mind that this is kind of still a general channeled session, right? Imagine this being one-on-one, very individual for you. And as I am explaining these concepts here, as they apply to different signs, you would be the only consideration in our one-on-one work, of course. So what happens after that day that we spend together, you have a blueprint for 2024 that outlines some guidance, some tips, some forecasts, some kind of a feel, right? A feel for when to focus on things, what is the context, and what to anticipate, what to prepare for, what to possibly avoid. So a blueprint for the year ahead. And then we spend the rest of 2024 together. I conduct a reading for you every moon cycle, of which there is a total of 13. With every one of those readings, you get to ask me questions, you get to receive laser coaching, you get to kind of tell me, what your focus is, and we get to go a little more specific with the cards and the channeling so that it serves whatever your priority is at this time. If you're not really sure, or if it's like, well, I'm just open to listen, to what's coming through, then we just look at the messages of what's, coming through, what's coming available for you. We spend the entire 2024 together. It's a very intimate experience. It's a beautiful way to work with me for the entire year. As your personal advisor, as a psychic, as a mentor. And it can be quite a transformative year together. It's quite a commitment on both of our ends. And it's quite an investment, which is intentionally so. I want this to be something that is a significant gift that you give to yourself, if this is something that you're resonating with. And it's a pretty intimate container. It's high personalization. It's close proximity. So the price to me makes sense as a match to the energy of this offer. Right now it's $19.99, so it's $1,999. The price will go up on January 1st. This offer will be available to purchase throughout January at that higher price. So right now it's $19.99. It's $1,999. The link is in the description or somewhere on the screen. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you for participating in this reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it serves you. I'm wishing you the happiest of holidays and the most beautiful, powerful, and the most expressed year 2024. I love you all so much, and I'll see you very soon. Okay. Mwah. Bye.